This is the new BMW 5 Series and it doesn't have massive kidney grills, though these kidney grills are lit up. But what's more important is out here, the length of this thing. This is actually longer than the previous generation 7 Series, the regular wheelbase 7 Series. To give you a frame of reference, what's a big car today? A Tata Safari? Well, this is around 500 millimeters longer than a Tata Safari. What's even bigger? A long wheelbase Range Rover. This is some 70 mm shorter than a full-size Range Rover. Compared to the E-Class, this is 100 millimeters longer. This has got 99 millimeters longer wheelbase. This is 5,175 mm long and 3,150 mm in terms of wheelbase. In fact, I can't even remember the numbers because these numbers are important. I should remember it, but I can't remember it. The wheelbase is 3,105 millimeters. The length is 5,175 mm. So over the earlier generation 5 Series, this has become 212 mm longer. This is a massive thing. Again, frame of reference, obviously the long wheelbase E-Class. The long wheelbase E-Class has got a wheelbase of 3,079 mm and a length of 5,075 mm. Of course, there is a new E-Class coming, but despite that, even towards the end of the year, when the new E-Class comes, this new 5 Series will be the longest in its class. And honestly, with the kind of length that you have, with the kind of space that you have, I don't know, why would you need a 7 Series? This is just, it's massive. I can't get over how big this thing is. Let's quickly dive into the details of the new 5 Series. Let's start with the wheels. Now, these are 18-inch wheels, but they don't look like 18s because the space is so much that these 18s look actually very small. There is an optional 19-inch wheel, which actually looks better. And look at the profile of the tire. Now, that tells you that BMW have focused heavily on the person sitting at the back. But we'll jump into the back in a bit. Let's check out the rear. Now, the rear is actually cleaned up, no overly done details, but this is a BMW. This is a 5 Series and you can't see any exhaust tips sticking out. This is an ICE. This is not the EV, though an EV will come. This is the 530 Li. 530 Li means this is the 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. We don't know what the power and torque is because that's all kept under wraps. But overall, this does look nice. I'm sure there'll be a diesel, but again, they're not telling us. So let's jump into the back seat. Oh, and another thing. In case you don't know what you're looking at, it's got a nice big 5 out there. Before we talk about the front seat, we have to talk about the rear seat because that's the main focus for this new 5 Series. So you get these newly designed seats. These are what BMW calls comfort seats. It has got lovely side bolstering. Honestly, these are very comfortable. You also get these headrest cushions, so adds to the comfort, the space. 3,105 mm in terms of wheelbase, and that means there is a lot of space. You won't need any more space. You can just about tuck in your toes under the front seats, but in terms of space, this is sorted. But there is one drawback, and that is the seat back angle cannot be adjusted. In the E-Class, you can adjust the seat back recline angle. You can't do that. As standard, this is a very comfortable angle, but you can't adjust it. Another thing, now obviously the boss will be sitting over here because of the lighting. That's why I'm sitting behind the driver, but the boss normally sits on the left side. And sitting here, you don't have any boss mode for the front seats. Even the Tucson has that, but here you have to tell the driver to slide the front seats in front, and he does not have controls on his side. So basically he has to unbuckle, climb all the way, use the controls out there and come back. So that is a bit of a letdown, and you don't have sunshades for the side windows nor for the rear. But you do get a massive panoramic sunroof. Now, panoramic sunroofs are supposed to be massive, but this is massiver or massivist. And this is huge because when you're sitting out here, it's almost like you're sitting in a 7 Series or an S-Class because the space, it feels absolutely massive. You don't get screens, but you do get this thing. So I'm sure you can put in a screen as an option, and you got USB-C chargers, you have a wireless charger out here, you got cup holders out there. So overall, you're very well catered for. If the interiors of the 5 Series remind you of the 7, well they should, because this has clearly been inspired by the new 7 Series. So you get this bar out here which is similar to the 7 Series. You don't get any physical controls for the aircon. For that you have to dive into the screens. It's all touch out here. You get these knobs to adjust the flow of the vents and the direction of the vents, but the vents are all hidden away. Everything has been cleaned up. You get two screens, 14.9 inches, 12.3 inches on this BMW curved screen, which we've seen on a lot of BMWs, but still the novelty has yet to wear off. This is the M Sport, so you get this M steering wheel, which is nice and fat and got a flat bottom, and that hints at sportiness, though this car I think is all about comfort, not really so much about sportiness. The front seats have coolers, it's ventilated. The rear seats don't have ventilation. That is a miss. There are no massagers, because why does the driver need to be massaged? The boss is sitting at the back. Like I said, big sunroof, nice clean panels out here. You get these My modes like we've seen on the 7, on the iX, all of that. So sport mode, but there is no physical DSC off button. That is strange for a 5 Series. That is strange for any BMW. But overall, the design, it looks really cool, and you can adjust the ambient lighting, turn it into a boudoir or a discotheque or whatever you want. You get two pads out here, but only one pad is the wireless charger. The other one is kind of like a dummy, but overall this is good. And the seats, oh man, the seats are really comfy. Plus even the driver gets a nice headrest cushion, pillow, whatever you call it. And finally, the front end of the new 5 Series. It's got this chiseled bonnet that highlights your BMW roundel. Normal sized LEDs, they have become a little wider, but they aren't all the way to the floor, so that's nice. But these are lit up, so proper jang these grills will look. And it's got this gold finish around it, so properly blingy. This color, it looks really cool. The lights, these are full LED lights, and they are styled also really well. This has got aggression, this has got muscle. I think it rides a little too high because there's too much of a gap in the wheel arches, but overall this is a good looking car. This is a massive car, and this gets launched towards the end of July. What are your expectations from the BMW 5 Series? Do you expect the 5 Series to drive like the earlier 5 Series, like all the 5 Series that we know and love? I'll be doing a very quick drive very soon, so stay tuned to the Evo India channel for that. And of course, we can't wait our hands to get this car on roads that we know, in places and conditions that we are familiar with, to test it out properly and see if this still has the genes, the DNA of a proper 5 Series.